One of the points that the listeners, and I'm sure those who are viewing us on Facebook and YouTube, want addressed, and that's the idea that you would bring someone into the Dáil, to the houses of the Oireachtas, who had been tried and convicted in the Special Criminal Court, pleading not guilty and not offering any defence. And when you bear in mind that in the van where they were apprehended, there was 2 handguns, a stun gun, ammunition, cable ties, black pillowcases and petrol cans.
Absolutely.
Now, what do you think they were up to?
First of all, the facts are there, and the Special Criminal Court found the woman guilty. She served a prison sentence. She left before her term was up in the prison. Such was her rehabilitation record. So conflating that with my attitude to the Special Criminal Court is not acceptable to me. The Special Criminal Court is the law of our land till we change it. In relation to the person, let me just say, over and over, I find it absolutely unacceptable that this person's privacy has been trespassed upon, unforgivably so, to try
But you are the reason it was trespassed upon. If you hadn't been running for the presidency, we'd never have heard about her. If you hadn't brought her into the Dáil, signing her in every day into the most sensitive building in the country.
That in itself is an interesting way of putting it. We would never have heard, because there was nothing to hear. Because
there was. Well, everything is in the public domain about the conviction.
Pat, you asked us to debate, and I'm truly doing my best to give the facts. In relation to this story grew from unnamed sources, accusations and allegations that I interfered in some way with an appeal process and with other allegations, all of which are absolutely...
Do you accept that you made a mistake in employing this person?
Absolutely unfounded. I did everything right, and so did the person. From day one...
You may have obeyed the law to the niceties of it, that you signed someone in. But the general thing that you've someone who's got a particular background involving this conviction, and that you would feel that that person is a safe person to bring into the houses of the Oireachtas.
You see, that person was an absolute example of a success story in relation to rehabilitation.
Yeah, we've heard a lot from you.
Who came highly recommended from TDs, in particular Eamon O'Queeve, a respected member of the Dáil, who visited the prisons on a regular basis.
Well, can I just say that part of any rehabilitation process is accepting that you made a mistake. Now, this particular person pleaded not guilty. Catherine brought that person into the houses, into the Dáil, without the necessary Garda clearance for 6 months. You didn't have the Garda clearance, Catherine, and that's a fact. I can't change that. But I'll tell you what I do want to ask you, and you still haven't answered. This woman was found in possession of guns and a number of other things. Did you ever ask her what she was going to do with them? And I think that's a reasonable question.
I think the reasonable question is...
No, but what was she going to do with them,
I think the reasonable
Catherine?
question is what is our opinion on rehabilitation.
But it's not about rehabilitation in this case. It's about what she was going to do with the guns.
If I could, are we going to look at what rehabilitation means? Are we going to double and trebly punish people? The amount of people and support I've got from people who have benefited from a second chance, and from those that haven't benefited.
It wasn't the only job that was out there. Okay, but you decided to take someone who had this particular conviction involving firearms and all the rest of the paraphernalia we heard about. What were they up to? We don't know. You haven't explained what you inquired about, what they were up to, and there were other job opportunities available, surely, that you didn't have to bring them into the Dáil.
You don't bring a bank robber in to run a bank.
If we could have some level of a rational discussion and debate in relation to rehabilitation and what it means, if we could have some honesty into what happened here. No rules were broken, absolutely none.
She committed a crime.
I'll try and deal with the allegations that have come.
No, but a lot of your responses, Catherine, over the course of this campaign have been about, obeying the particular rules and so on. And we'll come to...
There's a generalisation here again, Pat, from you in relation to me. This is a specific issue that has arisen that over and over I've answered. It would be helpful if those people who made allegations against me that I interfered in somewhere or withdrew those allegations and recognised that they weren't accurate and founded on nothing.
The point here is, and it's very clear, you're supposed to have Garda clearance before you bring people into the Dáil to work for you, and we all know that. You have to get Garda clearance.
accurate.
That is accurate,
That is
Catherine.
not accurate.
Well, it is accurate. You can bring people in on day passes.
Are we going to allow further? Are we going to allow further untruths?
Just let me finish here. That lady was a risk at the very least. She posed a risk to our national parliament. She had access to ministers, she had access to TDs, she had access to a lot of information, and she had been convicted and she had pleaded not guilty to a firearms offence. So I'm still asking the question.
Is there no forgiveness in you that someone can turn their life around?
Yeah, but you can turn your life around, but there's different levels of crime. There's different types of rehabilitation. If she had got a job and maybe had started somewhere else and then moved along, and she was only out of jail, and she was brought into our national parliament, and that is a concern because she did pose a real risk, and the Gardaí did not give the clearance, and it's very, very clear that Catherine didn't get the clearance, but she brought her in for 6 months on a day pass. You bring people in on a day pass for maybe 2 or 3 weeks if you have to because you're waiting. She never got the clearance. So
now we have some truth emerging. You bring somebody on a day pass while you're waiting, and that's exactly what happened.
But not for 6 months, Catherine.
So now we have some truth, I'll repeat, emerging. You bring somebody, Heather has just confirmed, you bring somebody in on a day pass for a few weeks. And what happened here is exactly...
Catherine, hang on. 6 months is almost semi-permanent.
If I could...
So you've got someone coming in every day for 6 months. That's pretty much permanent,
so
isn't it?
let's see the truth. You bring somebody in for a few weeks, that's exactly what happened. And the weeks continued because there was no answer in relation to the process.
Were you not curious about why?
Absolutely.
You sent an email to whom?
Absolutely. I sent an email internally in March to say what was the delay in relation to this.
What answer did you get?
That the process was continuing or something like that. It was vague, but I drew...
Did you have no concerns that you were bringing this person in on a daily basis, using this, day pass system, and you're looking at all of these days and hours being clocked up without...
And you still hadn't asked her what she was doing with the guns.
We're jumping to conclusions here. So I've done nothing wrong. Heather has admitted that. You bring somebody in, and the application form...
You're misrepresenting what I said.
It's really important that we let facts out here because facts are important and people will judge and vote accordingly to who they trust. In relation to this...
Did you think
she was a member of IREG.
Hang on, I want to ask Catherine a question. Did you not consider when you decided to run for the presidency that this would not come out?
This person came highly recommended. I can vouch for that person that was in my office. Eamon O'Quee, former minister in TD.
He doesn't do Garda clearance.
Can we...
Catherine, the simple question I asked you was, did you not contemplate, when I'm running for president, I've decided to throw my hat in the ring, this might come out, and therefore deal with it first before it becomes what you characterise as a smear?
I'm going to try again. This woman is an absolute success story of the prison system, a success story that we absolutely need, who fully rehabilitated her life.
Was there nobody else?
Absolutely not. That woman came highly recommended with
Heather?
very specific qualification. Just on the risk, let me say that this woman was with me every day. I know nothing in the sense of what the concerns were from the guards because nobody ever communicated with me.
Did you know her track record? Did you know that she had emerged from prison?
Of course I did.
And what she had been convicted of?
Of course I did. I took advice in relation to this from Eamon O'Quee, who visited...
from the Gardaí.
The Gardaí had nothing to do with me. The Gardaí are absolutely separate from me.
Okay. Now,
absolutely nothing to do with me.
There are other questions of judgment which I want to put to the pair of you.
But just one thing.
Last words before the break.
It's a registered political party.
That person, it might be a registered political party, Catherine, but IREG tried to pull down the Good Friday Agreement, and they're very clear. That's very clear. That is their record. She is a member of IREG. You talk about reaching out the hand of friendship. That particular lady was involved on an incident when the Queen visited this country where there was an effigy of the Queen beheaded. Now, is that the way you talk to your neighbours? Like, this the kind of behaviour that this lady was involved in.